Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Before we get to our special guests here in the studio, reminding you that was Dexter and the Moonrocks. That is night 2 of Q101's Twisted Christmas with All-American Rejects, The Maine, and Andrew McMahon doing a special, unique solo performance. And then they're going to open up Dexter and the Moonrocks, the band you heard right there, that night. So night 2, couple tickets left still for that. And you want to win some free? Just text SECRET right now to 312-591-8300. Text SECRET, and then that will be your chance. And Ticket Puts Thursday, you got about 40 minutes to still text that in before 10 o'clock. So if you're driving and you're like, I don't want to miss out on the tickets.
Relax.
Just calm down. You can wait 10 minutes till you're pulled over, one entry per hour.
Brian says relax.
Yes, RELAX. Relax. Now, very excited to have the people from the World Oddities Expo back in the studio 1 year ago exactly. Our guy Adam came in, brought his friend Travis, and this is a journey into the weird. I think that's the best way to describe what you guys do over there at the Donald Lee Stevens Convention Center this Saturday from noon to 8.
Yeah, I would say that qualifies. It's a peculiar paradise.
A peculiar paradise.
So basically explain to people what they will see, what this experience is, and why it is something you should see. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing because you just come here for one day, in and out, and do it.
All right, so the Nickel Tour is the oddities community started around the 16th century. It was
So we're starting that bar back. Everybody sit back, get your popcorn. That's where we're starting.
Grab
Dinosaurs.
your popcorn. Yeah. So essentially they were royal treasuries that were filled with artworks and jewelry and unique animals taxidermied, and they really weren't meant for normal eyes. And so these rooms became later an attraction called the Cabinet of Curiosities, or a Wunderkammer in German. And now you move forward to 2025, and we have this entire convention based around that concept. So it's all kinds of unique, kaleidoscopic offerings. Artists, jewelers, taxidermy. There's performers all day long.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to qualify because it's a mishmash.
Right.
It's very much a whole run of the gamut. If it's interesting, we're interested.
I like that.
Yeah, man.
You're not going to be bored if you go, oh, for sure.
Listen,
No, even if you're boring, you won't be bored.
Yeah.
Hey, I like that. Adam, last time he came in here, brought all kinds of taxidermy, most of those things they stayed with me to this day, the things you brought in.
Yeah.
And you can give us an example of some of the taxidermy things you see that are just something you'll never see anywhere else.
Some people find freak a dirty word, but it actually just means a plant, person, or animal with a physical abnormality. And we have one of the largest collections of freaks in private hands in the world that we set up as the deformed exhibit. It's a small add-on, costs what a bottle of water costs in a convention center.
All right.
And they're all real examples and credible information. Back in the day, the sideshow, they would say, what is it for a nickel? And they wouldn't tell you what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And here we tell you that it's, holoprosencephaly, the most dramatic form of Cyclops. And if you don't want to read that, that's fine. You come to just see them.
Right.
'Cause you won't see them anywhere else.
You don't have to study.
No.
You're not into it.
This is not work.
I am so happy to report that most people love to learn when they don't have to.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. I agree with that. Amen. I agree with that.
This is at the Donald Lee Stevens Convention Center. It is Saturday. It is noon to 8, if I got that correctly. And this is something you really, you talk about. There's so many just events right now. I feel like there's an event for everybody. And this is very uniquely targeted. And I think somebody that doesn't even think they might be into some of the stuff, you need to go because it will open your eyes to a new universe that you may not have. You might not know it was in you until you get there.
What is one of your favorite things? You are obviously part of all the conventions. This thing's going to start tours. So what is something that you still get excited to see?
I just led up to it. I love the fact that we have sort of guest presenters and unique talks from everything from comedians. We have a local favorite here that I really love. He's a comedian called Chad the Bird.
Oh, he's our boy. He's our boy.
He has a birdcast with us.
He's amazing. He's
Yeah.
coming down. We have Nina Kativa from the Insect Asylum that's going to be doing a talk.
Oh.
We have our entomologist, Trish Nichols. And those are all just kind of free talks in our theater that people can go and sit in on, kind of like you would have a panel at like an autograph, convention or what have you. And that's just my personal favorite, but that's a little bit dry for some. The performers are absolutely fabulous, and just seeing who's participating city to city, what local businesses, what offerings, what the artists are doing and bringing. And a lot of people kind of dress up and be strange. You know, you were talking
You to let your freak show.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, you were saying you said something a little illuminating that some people might not know they were into it. There's really only two people that go to this show. There are people that are home among the weird, and there are people that didn't know they were weird. So
Yeah.
What kind of performances are they?
a lot of sideshow. I try to pepper in dance troupes, even puppet theater. But we've been doing a lot of sideshow lately. Our performance stage is led by Bizarre Bryn, our contortionist.
Ooh, I love that kind of stuff. That gets me excited.
Yeah, and it absolutely varies from city to city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you got a friend of yours, Travis, here also works on who Travis kind of looks like to me. He would do something like a Johnny Cash tribute with a two-headed goat on stage at the World Oddities Expo.
You're not far off.
That's kind of fair. That's really, really fair.
He's like, why did you just spoil my performance? How dare
Sorry,
you?
I didn't know it was a surprise. What's your part in all this as a partner?
I am just kind of the wild and wonderful Wizard of Woe. I do a little bit of everything. I drive everything from city to city, set everything up, tear it down, and meet the people, do the things.
Oh, you're going to meet Travis, I know, for sure. And
Do you also launder money? Because that was very...
shady?
yeah,
What'd he
a
say?
little bit. Like, I do
mean,
lots
that's
of stuff.
that's an
That's just
incredibly
your Chicago
incriminating
time.
thing. So I'm not going to admit anything like that on air.
Plead the fizz-if.
Yeah, the fifth. Yeah.
The World Oddities Expo, again, it's this Saturday, Donnelly Stevens Convention Center, a perfect spot for it. And is this only the second time you've been to Chicago? I thought last year when you were here was the first time you were in Chicago.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. One more thing before we move on, what Travis does. It's a fun sideshow fact. So, you know, people talk about a carnival barker. In the sideshow world, you never call them that. They're the talker. They're the talker or the ballyman.
Yeah.
And he does the bally and talking for the deformed exhibit that I was talking about,
Oh, wow.
as well as, you know, driving some of the trucks and pretty much helping me
Just
hold
doing
it together.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
put it down.
you can
Wild
tell me
card.
this is a not fair assessment or not, but people, if you go back a little bit, the Jim Rose Circus world of Lollapalooza, when Lollapalooza was first the traveling show, does that give a vibe to help people get a little reference point to it, or is that's
Definitely to the stage, not
stage.
to the deformed exhibit. The deformed exhibit is more like a museum exhibition of real freak animal specimens.
yeah.
But the stage, definitely, we've even had some of their performers. I've known Jim a while. He's great man. And an inspiration, really, to everybody in the sideshow world.
What do you think the rarest, like, probably most expensive to purchase, whatever it was, deformed creature, person, thing, plant, like you said, is in the deformed exhibit? What is, like, the unicorn of all unicorns?
Whether you have it or not.
For me, in that exhibit, there is an animal called it's a hydrocephalic horse. In the old sideshow world, you would have called it a pumpkin head. It has a great big head, and they're super rare. Wouldn't be as exciting to somebody maybe as a two-headed cow per se, but I mean, it's a horse, and it almost looks like it's got like a volleyball-sized head. We call him Megamind.
Mega Mind.
Yeah, and an interesting thing was we took the skin off for taxidermy. That's what taxidermy means, the manipulation of skin. Taxi
Okay.
is manipulation, derm, like dermis, your skin. But we also plastinated the carcass. So plastination is a really unique and expensive preservation material. So it allows you to see the skinless carcass next to the taxidermy animal, internal and external anatomy.
Whoa.
Those are things I love.
And Kenzie loves Halloween,
Those
so
are a few of his favorite
Favorite
things.
You read my mind.
so you're gonna make an offer for this thing? Can someone make an offer for some of these things, or do you keep these for life? There's no price on these things for you.
Yes and no. I've sold them to museums. I've sold to fellow collectors. It's overall a research collection when it's not touring. But everything has a price, or else it has no value, right?
Damn
Yep.
right.
Amen.
Well, listen, you've got to get to this weekend. Again, a journey into the weird, the World Oddities Expo, only the second time in Chicago. one show, one day. So it'll be Saturday from noon to 8, and you can get tickets on the, we have a link up actually at Q101.com. Just go there and you can find it there.
Beautiful. Thank you.
We
Of
appreciate
course. Thank you.
Adam and Travis for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
And again, really, really, whether, like as I said, whether you're into it or you just don't know you're into it, check it out at the Donnelly Stevens Convention Center this weekend.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We talked about that Pierce DeVille show next year coming up in Tinley Park. But even sooner, how about Q101's Twisted Christmas? It is Ticket Blitz Thursday. To get to night 2, text SECRET to 312-591-8300. SECRET for Dirty Little Secret, because that's All American Rejects headline night. That will be Wednesday. That's night 2, Wednesday. So that goes for about another 15 minutes. Then Lauren will be here with another keyword for the next hour. Every hour, then Brian will be here, Brian Phillips. So all sponsored by our great friends Heineken Silver, Byline Bank, Boost Mobile, and White Claw Hard Seltzer. Let's get to our takeaways. Case, what do you got from the listeners?
This one just came in from Tony and Homer Glenn. Takeaway: Brian will give Kenzie his max account password. He just won't give it to her gently.
I promise I hope you don't keep me.
God, that really got me.
All right, Kenzie, what's your takeaway? What you got from our listeners?
Dodger Boy texted in, takeaway. Twisted Christmas is going to be starting late because Kenzie's playing ping pong.
That's right. Facts.
Stupid little balls.
And Fred checked in from 708. Takeaway: Stitches get stitches from Twista, the rapper from Chicago. There we go. What's on the podcast, Case?
On the podcast today, Brian and Kenzie talked to a rogue cop from Des Plaines. You'll be shocked at the information that he gave you. Also, I was forced to apologize for comments I made yesterday. If you did miss my apology, that is on the Brian and Kenzie podcast. And Kenzie was forced to confront her biggest fear and clash with Kenzie today. A loaded day on the Brian and Kenzie podcast. Great stuff there.
So give us a minute. We'll give you a lot. Go to any of the places you get your podcast, whether it's Spotify or Apple, and the Q101 app. It's redesigned and super nice.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.